Assalamu alaikum. Dear students of second year honors, second year new Department of English, Anandamohan College, I do welcome all of you to my today's session. Today I have come here with another class for you, and today I will discuss from the same paper that I have previously taken a class, and the paper is English Romantic Poetry. And in my previous class I had discussed Samuel Taylor Coleridge's The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, and in my today's session I'll try to discuss one of the poems by William Blake, another very famous and very renowned poet of the Romantic age. So dear students, I hope all of you are doing well at home, and you are fine and fit, and you are also doing well with your study. And I hope very soon we are going to join in the regular classroom, and by the grace of Allah, maybe we will be together with sound health, with sound mind, and also with the hilarious mood, in a hilarious mood, and we will be much more spontaneous in the classroom. I hope so. So dear students, let's start today's topic. William Blake, he is a famous poet of the Romantic age, and he is considered as the precursor of Romanticism. In the previous classes I discussed that William Wordsworth and S.T. Coleridge, they are considered as the pioneer of Romanticism because they had officially started English Romanticism through their publication of lyrical ballads during 1798. But William Blake, he is considered as the precursor of Romanticism. Basically, the fact is that William Blake, he started his career just at the last portion of Augustan age or the 18th century. That was also considered as neoclassical age, and he flourished his career in the Romantic age. So he was in between two different ages. So he is also considered as a transitional poet. He developed his poetic career in the Romantic age, though he started his poetic career in the neoclassical age, in the last portion of the 18th century. So though he started his poetic career in the neoclassical age, in the Augustan age, we don't find the characteristics of neoclassical poetry in his poems. He did not followed those neoclassical roles of writing poetry, and basically he did not like the classics, and he always hoped that, he always wanted that we should always be true and just to our own imagination. That is the most important thing, to create something great, to create something extraordinary or outstanding. That's why he was not the follower of the neoclassical rules of writing poetry. Rather, he introduced some new ideas, some new characteristics. He applied those characteristics, those ideas, those rules and regulations in his poetry, ultimately which were considered as the romantic characteristics. That is, all those features, all those styles, all those characteristics of his poetry are similar to the characteristics of English Romantic poetry. That's why before the formal official starting of Romanticism, William Blake, he had already started writing poetry that was ultimately considered as Romantic poetry. That's why he is considered as the precursor of Romanticism. And William Blake, among the Romantic poets, William Blake is considered as a mystic poet. And mysticism is a vital characteristic of Romanticism. So he is considered as a mystic poet, and he was also an artist. He also earned his livelihood by being a sculptor. So art was also a major part of his career, and he he wrote poetry following the characteristics which are the characteristics of romanticism. That's why he is the precursor of English romantic poetry. And William Blake, that is the mystic poet of romantic age and also an artist, he was born in London in November 1757. And at first he started his career as an artist. Then gradually he proceeded towards being a poet. And in his poetry, we found two sharp two different sections. That is, in his poetry, we get two separate sections, and these two separate sections are considered as his songs of innocence and songs of experience. That is what is introduced, what is included in your syllabus, in your second year honors syllabus of romantic poetry by William Blake. That is William Blake's poetry, songs of innocence and songs of experience. And in those songs of innocence and songs of experience, you will get two different sets of poetry, two different sections of poetry, and there are two different sections which are quite opposite to each other, which are quite different from each other, which are just at the same time the pair poems are included in those two sections, and those pairs are just opposite to each other. And these opposite two sections combinedly create a completeness. You can say that, you can feel that these are just the two parts of a complete entity. His poetry, that is songs of innocence and songs of experience, this poetry is divided into two different sections, and these two different sections are just like the two different parts of the same entity, of a single unit. And combinedly, these two different sections, these two opposite sections combinedly create a single unity. And you can also think that songs of innocence, the poems that are included in songs of innocence and the poems that are included in songs of experience, if you just make a combination of these two sections, then ultimately you will feel that this is a complete picture of a human being. This is a complete picture of a human soul. Or you can also say that this is also the complete image of God, the Creator. Actually, we the human being are the combination of opposite characteristics, some opposite characteristics. All the human being, each and every human being has some good characteristics and also has some bad characteristics, some evil characteristics. There is no human being who is completely devoid of any evil characteristics, any evil nature, any evil, what should I say, any evil criteria. And at the same time, there is no human being who is totally evil. From top to bottom, he is completely evil. There is not a single good quality. There is not a single virtue in that person. It is quite impossible to found such type of person. And if you just think that a certain person is there who has only the good characteristics, who has only the virtues, good virtues, then you must say that he is just an angel. The ordinary human being, all the human beings are imperfect creature. It is declared that human beings are the imperfect creature. So none is there who is a perfect one. Flaws must be there in every human being. In some cases, the human, the good, we when we consider a certain person as a good human being, then it is obvious that the maximum characteristics, the maximum qualities in that person are obviously good. These are the virtuous. He is a person of good virtues in maximum cases. That is the maximum characteristics, the maximum qualities, the maximum nature of that particular person are the good things, are the good characteristics. And in that case we usually say that that is a good guy, that is a good person. And in case of a bad person, the most cruelest one, the hardest one, the evil, the most evil one, we usually say such type of, we usually certify in this way, because the most of the characteristics of that person are evil, maybe are evil. That's why we consider him as a evil one, as the cruelest one. But it is not that there is not a single virtuous quality in that guy. Just think that the cruelest person in this world, the villainous character, the most villainous character, in case of that most villainous character, you will also notice that in a certain case he has some soft corner, he has some soft mentality. Maybe he is a father, he has some father-like quality, he has some soft corner for a certain person. For in certain cases he may act as a human being, as a good human being. So we, the human being, are just the combination of some positive characteristics and also some negative characteristics. So songs of innocence and songs of experience, that is the innocent characteristics, the virtuous characteristics, and the experienced characteristics, that is the characteristics of the practical world, of the materialistic world, of the worldly situation. Those characteristics are also found in human being, in human nature. So when we are in our childhood, when we are in our immature stage, we usually possess the innocent characteristics. We gradually grow up and we also cope with the reality of life. We also try to cope with the reality of life. We learn many things from materialistic world. We try to cope with the hard and harsh reality. We learn many more techniques, many more tricks. We learn many more evil things to sustain and to survive. And for our betterment, for our better survival, for our for more stability, we usually attain some crooked policy, some crooked way in our way of life. And in those experienced characteristics, through those experienced characteristics, we usually attain the experienced characteristics of the materialistic world, to have a better life, to lead a better life, to be the winner in life, to defeat the other people. And usually in our later life, in our matured stage, we attain such type of experienced qualities, and the combination of our innocent characteristics and also of our experienced characteristics made a complete person, and we become a complete human being through exercising our innocent characteristics, at the same time also by applying our experienced characteristics. And the combination of these two represent our complete self. So we can say that the poems included in Songs of Innocence and the poems included in Songs of Experience combinedly represent a complete self, combinedly represent a complete soul, completely represent a complete human being. And at the same time, human beings are the representative of God in this earth. So God also possesses some some benevolent characteristics, that is the soft and the innocent characteristics like love, mercy, kindness, then fellow feeling, brotherhood, not fellow feeling, actually love, kindness, mercy. These are the soft corner, these are the soft nature of God. And the same God can also be very much cruel and hard to its creature, to his creature. Sometimes we feel that God is very much merciful, God is very much kind, God is very much benevolent, and God is very dear to us, God is very near to us. But in some other situation, we also feel that God is very hard and harsh, God is very tough, and God also become very much cruel to his creature in certain cases, in certain different cases. So the same God can be very much kind and sympathetic towards human being. The same God in some other situation can be very rude and hard and cruel to his creature. So the opposite characteristics, the combination of these opposite characteristics also represent God, also represent our creator. So as earlier I have already mentioned that William Blake is the mystic poet. So mysticism is a religious belief that means the communion or the union with the spiritual entity, that is maybe with the creator, maybe with the divine entity. So this mysticism is actually a spiritual stage where the creature where the creature tries to be connected with the creator, where there is a connection between the creator and the creature. So in the poetry of William Blake, there is always a tendency, we always notice that in Blake's poetry there is always a tendency to establish a connection between the creator and the creation. That is, Blake tries to understand the creator. Blake tries to make us understand the creator by describing the quality of his creature, that is God's creature. If we try to understand the creature of God, that is the supreme creature of God is human being. If we try to understand the characteristics or the nature of human being, then we can also understand man's creator, that is God. So this tendency that is found in William Blake's poetry, that is to find out the existence of God, or to be connected with the existence of God, to feel the presence of God in human nature, in human being. This tendency is very much common in Blake's poetry, and this is the mysticism that is found in Blake's poetry. So dear students, today I will discuss the very initial poem of Songs of Innocence, that is the starting poem of Songs of Innocence. The title of this poem is Introduction, a very a logical title. This is the introduction of his poetic career. So this is the starting poem of his Songs of Innocence, and you know Songs of Innocence is the starting section, because innocence prevail in our childhood and experience comes later on. So innocence is the earlier stage, and here the starting poem of this innocence is entitled as Introduction. So the title is very much logical. So the poet is introducing himself. The poet is introducing his poetic self with the reader, with ourselves. That's why it is the introduction. So in the poem introduction, another point should be discussed here, that is the two sections, Songs of Innocence and Songs of Experience. The setting of these two sections are quite different. In Songs of Innocence, we will notice that the setting is rural, that is, the setting is in the core of nature. So everything is presented here in the core of nature, and everything is presented here in a very simple and lucid way, as simple as nature it is. And everything here is very much plain, very much simple, and without any complication. In Songs of Innocence, whatever the poet wants to say, whatever he feels, he directly utters that. He directly utters that, he plainly explains that without any complication, without any haziness, without any kind of pretension. In the innocent children, they don't know how to pretend, they don't know how to express their hypocrisy, they don't know how to hide their real face, how to what should I say, that is, how to win the heart of people by exercising something which does not exist within himself. So this is not the nature of innocence. Innocence is very simple, and it is just simple as the appearance. There is no hidden face, there is no hidden appearance of innocence. Innocence is just whatever is seen in front of, whatever is seen through the face. There is no hidden meaning, there is no hidden idea, there is no double meaning of innocence. So in innocence, the poet tries to express everything in a very clear and in a very simple way. But the experienced world is quite different. In experienced world, people learn to pretend, people learn to show their hypocrisy, people learn to be cunning, people learn to defeat other people, people learn the technique or the trick how to defeat other people. So in the section Songs of Experience, we will notice that the poet expresses the things with double meaning. Whatever is expressed in the apparent way, there is always a hidden meaning, there is always another hidden meaning. So and the setting of Songs of Experience is urban, that is the artificial setting. And urbanity is very much complicated, and rural situation is always very much simple and plain. So the very beginning poem of Songs of Innocence, that is introduction. And dear students, I request all of you to have the text and just to follow the lines of the poem so that you can get a better understanding. And it is a very simple poem, and there is no complication of meaning. Very simply you can get the meaning, but the point is that there is a mystic idea. Mysticism is presented through this poem, and a mystic idea is presented here. So you will just try to find that mysticism in this poem. So the poem, the line goes in this way: piping down the valley's wild, piping songs of pleasant glee. On a cloud I saw a child, and he laughing said to me. This is the first stanza of the poem. So the poet himself is the speaker here. The poet presents himself as a shepherd boy, as a little shepherd boy, and he is grazing his lamb, and on that way on the field, he with his own happiness, in his own pleasant mood, he was grazing his lamb, and in a certain situation, suddenly he noticed something mysterious, he notices something divine, and he gives a very simple delivery of the easy situation of a shepherd boy. So being a shepherd boy, the poet says that piping down the valley's wild, that is, as a shepherd boy, he was piping, he was playing his flute in the valley's wild, in the wild valley. He was piping his flute, piping songs of pleasant glee. On his flute he was playing a song of a song of merriment, that is, a happy song was played by the poet on his flute. On a cloud I saw a child. Suddenly the little shepherd, that is the poet, he notices or he saw a child, a little child sitting on a piece of cloud. This is Basically, this is a unusual situation, but this is the spiritual sense. Just think about the spiritual sense of the poet, of the little shepherd. He says that as an innocent boy, he saw a divine scene, a divine picture of a little child sitting on a piece of cloud. A little child can imagine such thing, and here it is a divine scene that is experienced by the shepherd boy, the innocent shepherd boy, and he saw a child. You know, in Blake's poetry, you will get some symbolic words that are usually used for Jesus Christ. That is child. For presenting Jesus Christ, usually child is used. Lamb. This is another word that is also used to represent Jesus Christ, because the little child, lamb, they possess the same type of qualities as Jesus Christ possessed. Simplicity, innocence, kindness, softness, these are the characteristics of a little child and also of a lamb, as well as of Jesus Christ. That's why Jesus Christ, little lamb, and also a little child, these are synonymous from the symbolic viewpoint. So, a little child on a piece of cloud indicate the presence of Jesus Christ. So, the little shepherd boy, that means the poet, suddenly he saw Jesus Christ in the form of a little child, in the appearance of a little child on a piece of cloud, and he was laughing with a laughing face. That little child was saying something to the poet. What did he say? Then in the next stanza, these are the utterances of Jesus Christ in the appearance of a little child. He says, "Pipe a song about a lamb, so I piped with merry cheer." So Jesus Christ in the appearance of a little child, he requests the lamb. He advises the lamb, or he instructs the lamb, he advises the little shepherd, that means the poet, or he instructs the shepherd boy, that means the poet, pipe a song about a lamb. That means to sing a song, to play a music on his flute about a lamb, because lamb is very much dear to Jesus Christ, and symbolically lamb stands for Jesus Christ. So I piped with merry cheer. Accordingly, following the instruction of Jesus Christ, the shepherd boy, he piped with merry cheer. Very spontaneously, with a happy mood, he again plays a song on his flute with about a lamb. Piper piped that song again, so I piped, he wept to hear. Then Jesus Christ, in the appearance of a little child, he again says to the shepherd boy, Piper, that means addressing the shepherd boy, he says, pipe that song again. He becomes so much amused, he becomes so much convinced, he becomes so much pleased with that song played on the flute of the piper of the shepherd boy, that he requested him to play it once again. So I piped. Accordingly, the shepherd boy, he played that music once again. He wept to hear. And Jesus Christ, that is the little child, he wept to hear. Listening that beautiful song, that melodious song, that convincing song, he sheds his tear. This is not the tear of sadness, rather this is the tears of happiness, that is being absolutely happy, being so much pleased, being so much satisfied. The little child, he sheds his tears. Then in the next stanza, the poet says, drop thy pipe. This is again the instruction of Jesus Christ, that is the little child. Drop thy pipe, that is put down your pipe. Thy happy pipe, your happy pipe, your happy flute, drop down it, put it down. Sing thy song of happy cheer. Now he requests the shepherd boy to sing that song. Previously he was playing his flute. That was the music, that was just the melody. Now the little child, he requests the piper, the shepherd boy, to put down his flute and to sing the song through his vocal. So I sang the same again. Now the shepherd boy, he sings the song. He sings the song orally. While he wept with joy to hear, again the child, again the little child, that is Jesus Christ, again he becomes awfully happy, again he becomes absolutely satisfied, and he sheds his tear. That is the tear of his happiness, tears of his satisfaction. Then the third instruction from the little child, Piper, sit thee down and write. Again he requests the shepherd boy to sit down and to write down the happy verse of his song. At first he was just playing his melody on the flute. Then in the second step, the shepherd boy, he sang that song vocally. And in the third step, Jesus Christ or the little child, he requests the shepherd boy to sit down and to write down the verse of the song. Why? In a book that all may read, so that it can be a permanent piece of art. It can be permanent forever. If the shepherd boy can write down the verse of his song, then ultimately this song will be a permanent one. Ages after ages, generation after generation, this song will remain fresh. It will remain forever. And even hundreds of years later, people can read this verse and can sing this song again and again. So to make it a permanent piece of art, the little child requests the shepherd boy to write down the verse of the song. So he vanished from my sight. And just after that, the divine appearance, the divine existence of the little child, that was vanished. And this was just for the reason that divine inspiration, the little child or the presence of Jesus Christ, it was just the divine inspiration for the shepherd boy. The poet, before being a poet, he was just like a shepherd boy, not a significant one. He was not a significant person. He was not someone renowned. Just like a shepherd boy, he was roaming about in the core of nature. But instantly he got some divine inspiration of writing poetry. Then Jesus Christ, as a divine spirit, just like a divine spirit, inwardly inspires him to create poetry, to create verse, and to write it down for the next generation, so that this piece of art can be a permanent piece of art, and generation after generation can enjoy this happy song, can enjoy this happy verse, can enjoy this happy poem of the poet. So this was just the divine inspiration for William Blake to become a poet. And this divine inspiration was in the form of a divine child on a piece of cloud. So when he had already performed his job, that is, he played the music, then he sang the song, then finally he wrote it down in a book, then the purpose was done, the purpose was finished, and just after that, that divine inspiration, that divine image of a little child was vanished. That is, the purpose was served to inspire him inwardly. And after that, the divine spirit, the divine child was vanished, because the poet has already created his happy creature, that is the happy poem. So he vanished from my sight, and I plucked a hollow reed. Then the poet, he collect some instrument from nature to create a pen and also to write down his poem. He also used the water. That is, he plucked a hollow reed. A hollow reed is a kind of natural plant that will be used by the poet to make a pen. And just notice that everything that are included in songs of innocence that are associated with nature, that are directly collected from nature. So to make a pen, he collects some rural instrument. And I made a rural pen, and with that hollow reed, the poet make a rural pen, that is a natural pen. And I stained the water clear, and he used water to make ink, or to use it as ink. But water is transparent without any color, that's why he used some natural color to stain the water, so that it can get a color, it can have a color, and with that colored water he can use it as ink, and finally he can write down his verse. And I wrote my happy songs, and with that rural pen and also with that stained water he write down his happy songs, that is his happy poems, his happy verse. Every child may joy to hear, so that every child can enjoy his happy poems, can enjoy his happy verse. Every child can read it and can enjoy the poem and enjoy the verse. So why, just think the point, why does the poet says that every child can enjoy the poem? Is it that the poems of William Blake or the poems included in Songs of Innocence will be read only by the children? Then why are you reading, or why are you studying the poetry of William Blake, the poems, Songs of Innocence? Why we are studying the poems included in Songs of Innocence? We are the adult people. The fact is that here in every human being, even in every adult, also in every old person, there are some innocent characteristics. Excuse me. In every human being, in his adult stage, even in his old stage, some innocent characteristics always prevail, always exist up to his death. So, when you will go through the poems Songs of Innocence by William Blake, if you read these poems with a simple mind, with the innocence of your mind, then only then you can enjoy the poems. Only then you can feel the happiness of these poems. These are the simple poems with the simplicity of innocence. That's why with the innocent mind of every adult person, these poems can be enjoyed. So the poet requests all the human being, all the people, all his reader to enjoy his poems included in Songs of Innocence with the innocence of their mind. So this is all about this poem, Songs of Innocence, the introduction in Songs of Innocence. So dear students, I hope you can get the point, that is the mysticism included in this poem and also the message that the poet has given here. So excuse me. So I hope you will go through the lines of this poem and you will get the meaning, the inner meaning of this poem. The most important thing related to this poem is the introduction of mysticism. And again, I request all of you to keep all of you safe and sound at home, and very soon you will be regular in your classroom. So keep yourself in touch with your study. Thank you.